Why am I gay? Because I was born that way, man. I have no freaking control over it, guys. I have no... Yeah. Man, I'm tired. Guys, this is day 3. Day 3 of freaking baseball practices after work. Now, granted, I'm not the coach on any of my kids' teams, although I am going to be helping coach my daughter's softball team. But I'm beat. I am tired. Yeah, no, Oblivion, I know. I probably should have put other options on there, but to be fair, it's whatever. You know, I was calling Wednesday, like, Indie Game Wednesday, indie streams, and then I realized I'm not always going to have an indie game that I want to stream. Sometimes there's just going to be some stuff to, you know, talk about, shoot the shit over. And we do it. We've got a indie game to check out tonight. I do have one loaded up, ready to go. We'll check out for a few minutes during the stream. But right now, I just kind of wanted to get into this whole Monster Hunter Wilds is woke conversation because I don't know. I feel like, once again, like some other titles that we've encountered, that we've kind of lost the plot. You know, I kind of feel like we're losing the definition of words, and it's not helpful. Not helpful at all. So let me grab a bottle of water and we'll get started. 1 second, guys. Remy says it's kind of woke. It's woke adjacent. Black propagandists will and have been calling literally everything woke. It's diffuse and minimize tactic. If everything is X, nothing is X. Dude, did any of you guys watch Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan podcast today? I'm not a Joe Rogan guy. Like, I don't ever listen to or watch his podcast unless there's somebody genuinely fascinating that I really want to tune in for. And my wife, it's really funny, she was telling me last year, oh, you need to start following Ian Carroll. And I'm like, okay. I looked at his videos. I'm like, okay, so he's a TikToker. I'm not big into TikTok. But he's one of these guys, I look at him and I go, I can tell by looking at him, he's probably got a 90% female audience, right? So I'm like, I don't know. I just don't have any, like, use for that. But then I started listening to his videos and seeing his deep dives. And he was on Joe Rogan today. And once you go down the rabbit holes that man goes down, talking about basically the way that we perceive everything around us and the government and conspiracies and, you know, psychological warfare and manipulation and telepathy. And it's like, my brain is on overload right now. They don't have any new plays. Pretty much, yeah, it's pretty much like a letting your enemy defeat you from within kind of situation. So, that being said, guys, we're gonna kill the music first of all. It's really funny. 2 streams in a row, I had YouTube demonetize my video because I had to trim out a segment of music, even though I'm using Pretzel Rocks through Streamlabs, which is supposed to be YouTube safe. Well, apparently the toggle was off. I don't know. It was playing like the good music and it wasn't technically YouTube safe. So now we have this the shitty music looping, right? It's not called conspiracy theory. It's a spoiler enjoyer. Hey, Truth, what's going on with Monster Hunter? What's going on with Monster Hunter, I would say, is a lighter version of what we just had with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, where you have many different camps of people. You have those saying, it's woke, but I can still enjoy it. It's a little woke, so I'll let it slide. It's not woke at all. Or the people who are saying it's super woke, I'm not going to touch it. So we have people on Discord, Oblivion, you know, Patriot on Discord was saying that he picked up Monster Hunter, played it for an hour, and then he's done with it because he doesn't... Here's the thing. You don't have to be, like, genuinely, like, attracted just to, like, beautiful women to recognize... Well, I'm saying this because the person in question is gay, so he's not attracted to women at all. But to recognize that feminine women are more appealing to look at than masculine. So what's happened is a lot of people have taken to where anytime you have a situation like with the new Doom trailer or games like this where even though there are a wide variety of attractive and unattractive people, you know, on both genders, obviously, the minute they see somebody who's not genuinely like a bombshell, stunning, attractive woman, instantly they start going, oh, it's woke. They've manned her up for a reason. She's not an uglified character. No, I mean, I'm not even talking. This is the character creator slide thing that we're talking about here. But like, in general, we're getting to the point where I feel like in some ways we're kind of splitting hairs. And Monster Hunter is the latest conversation. A game's woke when it talks down to you. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like, you know? Not one tribe was like we was kings. Well, that's good. Uglification is from Merkuzian negative dialects, which is woke. She's not uglified. Well, are we talking about a specific character, Hook? Are we talking about the gal from Doom? But anyways, so I've got a few headlines we can kind of touch on real quick. Monster Hunter Wilds is the fastest selling Capcom game ever, 8 million copies in 3 days. That's huge. Okay, so the reason this is huge is because both sides, anti-woke and leftist, left-leaning, progressive, all lives matter, trans lives matter, black lives matter side of it as well, are feeling like this is somehow a win for them, right? Faces are not bad, but I understand hourglass shape's not possible. Yeah, people are complaining about not having enough bust or butt or whatever. Warner is clearly autistic, but that is not what his entire character is. I'll have to look that up. The faces aren't bad, but I understand. Okay, yeah. Hey, Blu-ray. If you have questions, I'm at 38 hours clocked in on Monster Hunter Wilds. He also played World. Okay, well, Blu-ray, maybe you could throw in the chat your difference of opinion between World and Wilds. Because I've seen there's some tweets that we're going to pull up from people who have played both. And I'm not a Monster Hunter guy, so I'm looking at this from the outside looking in going, are there significant differences? And one thing I'm noticing a lot of people saying is if you go back to like 2018, 2019 with Worlds, I believe, I think Nightcore said it or somebody else said it, they still had body type, male and female, not 1 and 2 or A and B, right? And again, we saw this with the guys that did Lords of the Fallen. Even though their game was subpar, I'm going to say that honestly, from what I saw in the reviews, the game was like, it was like Temu Dark Souls, right? Well, they went back and said, we're going to get rid of body type A and B and make it man and woman. And everyone's like, oh, great. And then it's like, okay, and we're going to do all these other things. Great. Your game can still suck even if you have male and female, rather than type A and type B. That being said, it is a nice gesture, I would say, to not cave to people to put pronouns in the game to make people feel included, because it's like the whole pronoun thing's just retarded. Will putting pronouns in a game ruin the quality of the game? No, but it's an indicator of the people who are making the game. That's just kind of the way it goes. Ad blocker, go away. World had male and female gender locked armor and thick thighs. You're playing it right now? It's funny, yeah. Got the health bar mod, yeah. Everything has to be about owning the chuds. But see, John, here's the thing. I feel like it's the same from both sides in the context of this game right here. And I think this is why the whole Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 situation was so visceral, was because the anti-woke were looking at that game to own the leftists so hardcore, because there was this perception that the first game was, unquestionably based, that this was the game that was going to destroy Western gaming and finally show them that you need to go back to based gaming. And then it's like, well, there's a couple gay options and a black guy, and all of a sudden, oh my God, the game's not based anymore. Now, I've talked to several people now who have had valid criticisms of the writing in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the characters, the plot line, a lot of stuff, some girl bosses. So clearly the writer's room had too many feminists or too many people who had a particular idea in their head of what they wanted to put into the game. And I think despite the massive script, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 suffered for it. And the fact that Daniel Vavra catered to the shippers who wanted to see Hans and Henry together, and then they decided, let's just give these people what they want. It's like, no, most people aren't looking for the shipper crap. Most people don't want this. But again, they listen to a fraction of a percent of people. So in this situation, I think it's very much the same thing. We were all looking at this going, Monster Hunter Wilds is obviously going to do well. It's obviously going to destroy the numbers you see from games like Avowed. Avowed isn't going to stand a chance. But a lot of people still felt like the body type 1 and 2 or A and B, as well as a couple other things not having all beautiful, sexy women in the game, but having some more masculine looking women was a betrayal to the anti-woke crowd, you know? They've been in development for half a decade. Exactly, yeah. And yes, NS, dude, 100%. I'm glad you brought that up because I know you are a massive Elden Ring fan, and it still is what it is. I mean, yeah, okay. Does the type A and B, does it irritate me? Sure. Yeah, it irritates me. But it doesn't stop me from enjoying Elden Ring. I just think it's retarded. I think it's stupid. It's quite dehumanizing being called a body type, yeah. Let me see. Yeah, Capcom has done activism before. I like Kingdom Deliverance 2, but playing it to finish, Musa doesn't fit, and the gay stuff with Hans definitely feels true. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, Remy, I mean, when people were saying, oh, it's BlackRock, it's Vanguard, it's Embracer Group, and I went through and I looked at all the evidence and listened to what the developers were saying, and I listened to what Vavra was saying, and I watched videos of the community, PR guy Toby, and everything else, and I listened to their own words. They did that Hans and Henry shit because after the first game, you had that weirdo percentage of people online who wanted to ship those two characters. And Daniel Vavra was like, hey, why don't we just try this? And Toby said, I was worried. Toby said, I thought this was a bad idea, and I told him it was a bad idea. And he did it anyways. Now, you can hate Daniel Vavra for that. I think that's, you know, more than warranted if you think that he shouldn't have done that. But it's like, yeah, there's been, unfortunately, a small percentage of people who have had a vast control over the way certain things have gone. I'm body type A. How would you feel if someone called you body type B? You don't enjoy Elden Ring, you suffer it? Right. Type 1, 2 needs to be referenced in an attempt to push it out. It's not inclusive, so to speak. I mean, you're destroying both genders for what? Because it's okay. Why do they have to call trans people trans man and trans woman? They do that so they can attach the term man and woman to them because otherwise you know that they're not a man or a woman. So it's a way of basically playing, or not even playing to both sides, but trying to, you're trying to appease somebody who's never going to be happy because the entire nature of what they're doing is being done out of self-loathing and misery. But you're just trying to make them feel better by going, okay, I know you're not a woman, that you were born biologically male. I know that no matter how many surgeries you have or hormone replacement, therapy sessions you have, you're never going to be a woman. But if we call you trans woman, then we can just do the whole stupid platitude of trans woman is woman, even though we're putting the word trans in front of it in the first place. It's all retarded. It's all BS. You do not simply enjoy Elden Ring. We need to do a meme of Boromir with talking about the ring. One does not simply walk into Mordor. One does not simply enjoy Elden Ring. Shit, I gotta do that now. Let me see. It's all because of the face Smash makes in his thumbnails. Horrible PR. Oh my god. Who played Monster Hunter? What's your favorite weapon? You gonna go shave now? Go shave. My beard, dude. I mean, okay. Remember, dude. My fellow, my lovely limey Brit. You beautiful British bastard. You. I shaved on October 31st because I was doing the whole Elon Musk costume for Halloween, right? So this is just since November 1st of not shaving right here, and I've already had to trim this. Okay, so. You kind of freaked out when I shaved it all off because you're like, oh my god, never do that again, or I'm never gonna, I'm unsubbing and no more memberships and all that. But my facial hair grows extremely fast. Extremely fast. Wish you could grow like, dude, honestly, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm going bald on my head. Like, I've got the massive receding hairline in Widow's Peak, but I can grow facial hair all day on my face, like, no problem. All the characters look like dwarves. They can't make tall characters because they would say they have problems with the armor. There are many games that let you do without problems. Another thing that I've noticed too is the discussion about both armor sets being able to be worn by both genders. Is that a thing where it adapts for male and female body types, or is that legitimately you're wearing a man's armor? Because when I played Guild Wars, and that was a long time ago, but Guild Wars, what they would do is every armor set had a male and a female version. So the female would be like more midriff or be a little more revealing, whereas the man's would be a little bit more masculine. Is this straight up they're just Swapping, armor. Shave in the morning and get a very dark shadow by evening. Yeah. Shave the head, jihadi beard. Dude, honestly, if I start going bald, like if I start getting thin hair in different spots on my head, I'll be shaving the hair off. I'll keep like the maybe sideburns or something like up to here, and then bald head. Oh, it's more realistic. Oh wow, that's retarded. Nice goatee. That's 3 years of growth. My daughter wants me to grow this out till she can braid it. I don't think I'll be doing that. So why did Monster Hunter Wilds dedicate so much effort to its environment only to completely drop the actual hunting from Monster Hunter? Weather, seasons, and big open areas are left purposeless when we're still mostly launching hunts from a menu. That's an interesting question. One that I'm not qualified to answer. Let's see. Now that I've spent 3 weeks with the full game, I'm still processing my biggest disappointment with Wilds, that instead of deepening one of the most undercooked but promising elements of 2018's Monster Hunter world, Capcom ditched it altogether. Where exactly is the hunting? To be obnoxiously pedantic, I'd call Wilds and the prior game of the series, Rise, more Monster Fighter than Monster Hunter. It's funny because I'm not a Monster Hunter player at all, so I don't have any experience with this. But from what I've seen, a lot of people complained that after Worlds, I guess, the games like Rise weren't very good. Wait, so you would have to craft the female armor specific... Okay. So theoretically speaking, what we're talking about is you play a male character, you can craft the female armor and put it on and vice versa. You only see clones in the lobby, no variety. That sucks. Wilds was the downgrade from World. Huh. Boob armor with midriff? Yeah, hell yeah. Take hat off again, visualizing. Visualizing what? The bald? I don't think I'd look good bald, to be honest. I'll shave the hair down, but I'm not gonna look good bald. Let me see here, hang on a second. I don't like Monster Hunter games signed as someone who hasn't played a single game. See, NS, that's the situation I'm sitting in here, dude. I thought about picking up Wilds and streaming it a couple times so we could kind of play it for ourselves. And the minute I heard about all the optimization issues, I'm like, screw that. Not happening. Women wearing men's clothes, equipment, or armor will tell you it doesn't fit. Like suits of armor used to be sized to individuals. Anita was just a moron. Yeah. To pull off the bald thing? Well, we'll have to see. Maybe I'll get a big tattoo on the back of my head. Who knows? So people complain about different parts of Wilds, kind of a downgrade from World. Obviously, you guys know for yourselves. I guess, of course, this is riveting articles from The Gamer. Monster Hunter Wilds players are using stickers to request feet pics. Okay. Sure, I guess that's a thing. Gotta tell Kata. I don't know what he's doing tonight, but like, boy, are you asking for feet pics on Monster Hunter? Let's see. Kotaku says, fix Monster Hunter Wilds' greediest microtransaction and more with these 5 great mods. And it's the other thing. Modding has been a big part of what I've seen in this game. And a lot of the modding is, of course, the gooning side of things. Where, get a 9070 R. Dude, honestly, I was just going to pick up like a... Either like a, what is it, 7900? I was thinking 7900 after the 90, 70, 90, 80s come out. They're not even going to be available for like the next year. I'm sticking with the graphics card I have. I'm going to let all the other idiots who are, buying everything on the market, flood the market with their triple priced, fit 4060s and shit. And I'll buy a graphics card in a year. Whatever. Most of the game was added, optimized, wait a second. Same optimization issues for PC as World had at the start. Oh, okay. Most of the game was added, optimized year after launch. There's bare bones on launch too. Might get recruited by the CIA. That's my plan, dude. If it gets me into early retirement without blowing myself up, that's a win. Signalis, I know. Nightcore, I'll see. I'll see you. I don't know. Wait for the RX 6969 giggity. Get that 6969. Let me see. If the customization of bodies and armor is like Blade and Soul, it would be a good game. Well, I just don't understand why. Okay, so on one hand, guys, the gamer inside of me goes, well, more customizations is a good thing, right? Like, why are customizations a bad thing? On the flip side, it's weird that when you put the same set of armor on a man and a woman that it looks the same. Like, I would prefer the game, and this is not because I want less options for players. I just think it's retarded for a woman to be wearing man's armor. So I wish the game would just have the male and female equivalent of the armor set, so when you equip it, it's the female equivalent, you know? Subnautica? Oh, hell no. Dude, I don't do underwater. I'm not a big fan of underwater. Freaks me out. 9070 on sale would be a decent way to go. Better than the 7900. But see, the thing is, I've got a 5600 right now. So a 7900 for me, until I finally go to like an AM5 board, would be more than enough. I'm not even, I'm talking, if I'd be willing to spend this year maybe $500 on a graphics card and then maybe next year upgrade my entire setup, that would be a thing. You hated the... Okay, so people were complaining about that too. The Clutch Claw, whatever the hell it was called. Advocate for gooning as long as you keep it clean and legal. See, truth, I'm not going to get into that whole conversation about whether or not fictional characters, whether the age matters because they're not real anyways. I think that's disgusting. I don't want to go there. But at the same time, I also recognize that things are fictional, but still, I just don't want to go there. So yeah, I think let's just say legal is the best way to designate, you know, that, whatever. Thalassophobia. I don't like the idea, like I like boats, I could go out on the ocean, that doesn't bother me. But if I was dropped into the ocean, I would rather take a rocket and go into space. I'm not even kidding. I would rather go to space than be dropped underwater, middle of the ocean, even if I had, like, you know, equipment like a tank and everything else to survive in. No. Any depiction of a child CP? Well, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know people will make the argument that it's not real. I don't care. I think it's gross, but whatever. People that are on our... Dude, John, that's what I'm talking about. Like, the people that are hardcore... Like, it's not even free speech because it's, you know, people lump art into free speech. Okay, I'm not even going to go there. Just not worth. Male and women armor looks different. It semi-changes the shape of the armor, so if you use female and male, it doesn't have the boob protrusions. See, I don't have astrophobia. I'm not a big fan of heights, but I can fly on planes without any sort of like having like some sort of panic attack. For me, it's the fact that I just don't want the plane to crash. Yeah, I'm afraid of heights, but it's like once you're in the air, it's like that's not heights anymore. You're 10,000 feet up. Now it's more a matter of let's just keep the plane in the air and not collide with any other planes, right? All right, so here is the issue with Monster Hunter, okay? Here's what we're going to get to, and I apologize for pulling up Yorch Torch Games. I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I typed in Monster Hunter Wilds, and I wanted to see like the top trending tweets. And this is the retarded shit we got to deal with, okay? So here you go. Gamers. Let me tell you what. I don't know how much monetization these guys, how much ad revenue these guys are getting, or however Twitter does their payouts now, because I haven't been paid by Twitter in a couple months. This whole trying to get responses out of people by doing a blanket gamers. It's the most cringe shit on the planet. It is beyond brain rotting retardation. But for some weird reason, it just gets clicks. I don't know why. I'll never understand it. But apparently it does that. I mean, look, freaking this dude put out that thing about should women be banned from game development. That thing went viral. Okay. Avowed didn't survive. No, it didn't. You get $5. Dude, my last payout from Twitter was over like a 2-week span. I got $11. So what I will say, hey Mari, what I will say is that I have been able to have Twitter pay for itself up until now. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have it pay for itself in the future, because I've made like a couple $100 in the last 2 years on Twitter, however long since I've been monetized. And that's it, and that's fine. I always viewed it as, if it pays for itself, I don't care. But some of these guys are acting like they got to pay rent tomorrow. Well, I guess today was the last day to pay rent. You know what I'm saying. Bro needs to get gooder. Only then will I call it masturbator. For real. You have to be like that senpai masturbator. You want women with women's armor and men with men's armor, nothing between women with Chun-Li's body? Well, that's Chun-Li's body. That's pretty high standards. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having Chun-Li be the standard for, your female characters. Here's my thing, though. This has been one of these things because I brought up Yorch because of this retarded tweet here. He did the whole thing. He caused the whole, oh my god, Doom is now woke because this woman doesn't look like a runway model, right? Oh my god, her chin is a little square, even though she has a very nice feminine face and beautiful eyes and everything else. So, not every game is going to have a stick bone skinny girl. Okay, so for example, Monster Hunter Wilds. It looks like the slider isn't very generous with like the bust. You can't have like a itty bitty waist, but you're also hunting monsters. It's like, if the game calls for it, then I understand making the characters a little more sexualized or not, whatever. But in certain situations, okay, if you can still make a beautiful character, even if she doesn't look like, Sydney Sweeney, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, actually, Remy, the funny thing is that Airbagged, we'll bring up some tweets from Airbagged, because don't you hate when the worst people on the planet make a good point and you have to agree with them? I mean, it's just unreal. So anyways, he put this tweet out because there was this article from The Gamer, How to Survive February as a Gamer, right? And he put on here, gamers, here's the guide to survive February as a gamer. Don't buy Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, LGBTQ propaganda. Now again, you can say that the gay stuff is cringe, it's poorly done, it's stupid, it's shipping, it doesn't make any sense, it feels out of place. Same with, you can complain about Musa's character and dialogue and everything else. But that doesn't make it propaganda. It just means it was a poorly written character, okay? Propaganda is what Dragon Age Veilguard was, where they lecture the characters for hours on end about not misgendering people. That's propaganda. Don't buy Avowed. Woke AF. The game isn't like any more woke than anything else that I've seen. In fact, although I will say, I have seen parts of the dialogue where they do have several gay characters, which again, gay characters doesn't equal woke, but it depends on how it's done. But like, there's one that I guess where your character can talk to somebody about having an abortion or some shit like that. I don't know. It's very strange. But again, Avowed's number one problem wasn't that it was woke. Avowed's number one problem is it just looked mid. It just looked boring. Yeah, sure. Is there some woke stuff in the game? I'm sure. But that wasn't what killed the game. What killed the game was the fact that it released in a month with, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and games like Monster Hunter Wilds. And people are looking at Avowed going, I might play it on Game Pass. Won't cost me anything that way. They estimate that there's a 80% decline in sales for games that launch on Steam and Game Pass simultaneously. 80%. So right off the bat, Avowed couldn't hit a peak of 20,000 players concurrently when it released. There was an possibility that they could have had 80% more players, but they chose not to. Or however the math works out. I'm tired. My brain's retarded right now. PC optimization is the biggest issue, other than that solid game. So it's funny, Sneeko, because I'm hearing other people like Patriot in our Discord saying that Monster Hunter is fairly woke, I guess. I don't know. Dragon Gaze Fail Hard, definitely woke. Kingdom Come 2 is not woke. Yeah, I think personally that the problem with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is not that the entire game is woke or that the entire game is lecturing or propaganda. It's just that they made some really effed up, stupid choices. It's woke if it talks down to you, yeah. Aesthetics make a big part of it too. I mean, look, okay. You want to talk about woke games? The whole Lost Records, Bloom, and Rage. Freaking the ones that came before that from Don't Nod. Life is Strange. Those are woke games. Now, they can still be good. You can still have woke games that are enjoyable, but they're going to be for a specific audience, But that being said, the reality is, when it comes to games, a heavy-handed message is always going to ruin a game. Oh, thanks for sending that that image Blu-ray. So, what am I looking at? What armor is that? Like a female armor set that dude is wearing? Like the royalty color scheme, same as what Jaguar was doing. Avowed's biggest problem is he didn't like it. Dude, honestly, Avowed just looked boring. Even before we knew about Matt Hansen and the pronouns thing, I saw a trailer for it and I'm like, okay. I mean, it's Game Pass. Maybe if it's any good, I'll check it out down the road. It looked like your Walmart variety, like your off-brand, you know, Skyrim or something. Adding vitiligo or other skin diseases in the game seems well. Okay, now that is because that comes from the representation side of things. That's like, okay, I want to make my character an amputee because, you know, I'm an amputee, so I have to see myself in that. Woke in what way? Because tribes are black or brown, even though they never bring up race or skin color. Are we talking about Avowed or are we talking about Monster Hunter? There were people that were trying to say that Avowed having brown tribes was woke, but like, you know, Oblivion or Morrowind did that too.
Here's another way to survive as a gamer. Play your backlog games or retro games.
Dude, Lucia, you're not even kidding. My God, I've got so many games that I need to even, like, that I haven't even played yet, that I bought 2 years ago, haven't even touched. Thanks to the 5, dude, appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, that is by far the thing that I think is the most important to take away from, you know, the current climate that we're in with AAA gaming, is that there are plenty of games to finish or to, you know, just to go back and play all over again without even, like, if you truly, here's the thing, if there's a game that you're not sure about and you just don't want to support the studio that made it, then you just don't pay them. It's like, you don't have to complain about it, you don't have to bitch about it, you don't have to resent other people for playing it, you could just not play it. And if other people say it's woke, then you made the right decision, you know? It's like, it's pretty easy. Yeah, I saw the image came through. Is that, I don't want to open all of my DMs in front of everybody. I'll pull it up in a second. You don't know jack about it. Okay. Monster Hunter. Yeah, Saniko, honestly, people were complaining, I saw, about some of the tribes in Monster Hunter. One thing I heard from people was that Monster Hunter, they keep using the word diversity over and over and over again, like diversity, diversity, diversity. America's schedule success. I'm sorry, dude. Get back on your British time, man. Male armor type. Now you can make an argument. It's inspired by Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance. The green dots are male, orange is female. Interesting. I feel like that's a really complicated way of doing it. Just make the same armor set adapt for whether it's a male or a female. It's that easy. Could also buy the game used. That's true too. But then again, you'd have to have a physical disk drive. And unfortunately for me, I thought that by removing my disk drive in my computer, I'd have better cable management. And not really. So now my computer is disk driveless, although the disk drive is currently blocked by my camera anyways. But I couldn't even use a disk in my computer right now if I wanted to. Hey, Geek, how's it going, dude? Anti-DI stuff was aimed more at who's being hired to these companies, unless it, does this line of dialogue count as woke or not woke? The hiring is the root issue. Yeah, John, here's the thing. Everyone's going to have a cause they take up. Everyone's going to have particular... Kilted Cajun back on February 1st. Shouldn't you have a problem with Monster Hunter Wild since they're removing the gender restrictions on clothing? Now the guys can dress like ladies. Yeah. This is interesting though, because what this comes down to is that there's a lot of division between people who are, and I don't want to say anti-woke like we're all like, oh, we have to burn down the industry and, you know, take back gaming and we're all going to be like warriors in a war and stuff. No, you can be sensible about this and oppose DEI and wokeness and recognize that the root cause of it is the people that have infiltrated the gaming industry, Hollywood, politics, the school boards, all this stuff, and say, yeah, I'm not going to support these things if they have a blatant ideological, message behind them, without acting like you're some warrior on a battlefield in World War II. It's like, no, I'm sitting at my computer making videos talking about this, doing a deep dive on a particular developer who I've discovered or something along those lines. Is it work? Is it investigative stuff? Is it worth talking about? Absolutely. Is it worth getting rid of? It should have never been in the video game industry in the first place. But it's not the same thing as being on a battlefield, you know? All right, Mario, get some sleep. Let me see here. You're a warrior. Modern game's not my thing, so I really don't care. Phenomenon sounds similar to Dragon Ball and Attack on Titans when a Japanese product becomes too popular in the West. Yeah. And unfortunately, Geek, I think the problem is that it's become popular in the West at the worst possible time. Because like I was saying before you got here, the issue with Monster Hunter Wilds and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is I think that they were held up to this impossible standard that they needed to be the kind of game that was going to be 100% based, 100% white, 100% straight to oppose all wokeness in gaming, you know, and they were never going to be that thing. And like, I can't remember who said it, these games take 5 to 10 years sometimes to develop, you know? They just went the lazy route and put both armor sets for both male and female. I don't know if that's lazy more than, I don't know. I guess you could argue it's lazy. You could also argue that it's just, you know, them trying to give people options. Okay, so learning the law, Mango Lawyer on Twitter, somebody who I generally don't agree with because I think he likes to do over-the-top, hyper-sensationalized shit. In fact, my beef with this guy is he stole some information from me once, posted it, didn't credit me, then he blocked me when I called him out on it, then he unblocked me. So he's kind of a bitch, whatever. But he put on here, the amount of safe horny posts, and again, safe horny being the acceptable level of sexual promiscuity or titillation, if you will, from a character or a video game or a movie, is insane. Everything is woke until Crapcom Mr. Microtransactions shows up. For every okay character, 9 are like this. No, this is different. It's okay to give them money. They're greedy, but it's my greedy gay company. He's complaining about, again, these characters here. I guess you got this tall elf chick. This gal here who, if she had a better haircut, I don't think she's got a bad-looking face, honestly. Like, I think she's got likable features. This one here, this is a very bad image. I can't quite tell if this dark-skinned gal is unattractive or not. But again, I'm not looking for this game to be like, oh my god, I have to have beautiful women while we're slaying monsters. You know? Can you have extra credit? You get extra credit, John. You get extra kudos. I got nothing for you, though. I gotta fix up my soundboard. I can't even see half the shit that's on here. He's reaching a little bit. It's grieved the whole, it could be straight white male game, but, and they never finish the sentence, it'd be a success, is what it would be. Olivia's fine, mid-writing, nothing special, but she's fine. They're not like this chick from The Matrix. I don't want to see a Grums 2.0 ever complain about manly buffed, safe, horny females in video games after defending this trash. No, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm not an anime person or manga person. It's actually peak buffed fiction, improve your standards. Okay. This character here, though, this is the thing. This is what I don't understand. Yorch did this with the whole AI fantasy elf chick when he compared that elf AI chick to the Doom character. They're in completely different universes. I know nothing about this character other than it doesn't look like somebody from Monster Hunter. It looks futuristic sci-fi, maybe. That wouldn't fit in the same world as this right here. So you're comparing apples to oranges. Okay, let me see here. Is she doing the Roman salute? I don't think so. Maybe she is. Let me check DMs. Hang on a second, dude. Was it on Twitter or was it on... Oh, it was on Twitter, okay. Okay, so example of female and male variants of armor for Monster Hunter World. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's like Guild Wars. Like, Guild Wars had the female and male equivalent of every armor set, you know? If they want anime women, the gamer should play God Eater franchise. That's one I've heard a lot about, never got around to. You got Amma and Gemma. Yeah, everyone knows Gemma. Who are attractive than a butch type like Olivia. She's a fighter guard, so yeah, he's reaching. I mean, that's the thing, too. Now, okay. Can I say it's unrealistic to ever have a female as a warrior? Yes, I will say that. I should have said that before NS left. I mean, he'd be so proud of me. I don't like the idea that you throw women into the police force, the military, any sort of like emergency, like first responder situation, and expect them to do the same, you know, equivalent level of physical output as a man. They just physically can't. Now, are there women that could outwork me? Absolutely. But it's a fraction of a percent of the population. So, yeah, I mean, it's a video game. It's fake. Okay, fine. So it's not a big deal when you have female warriors. And if you have female warriors, they're going to probably be more butch. They're not going to be, they're a tank. Like my warrior characters on Guild Wars were always thick and heavy set because they were there to take damage. She's waving. It's a wave. She's sending out her heart. Tall woman. There's more of the backstory with Wyveria. Yeah, they're like descendants of dragons or something, right? Chief of a craftsman's tribe. Looks like a Jewish version of Mia Khalifa. Oh, Mia Khalifa. She was an interesting one. She quit all that to be a sports reporter, right? And then she went back to I don't even want to talk about her. From the manga anime Doro Hidoro. It's on Netflix. Actually, I'm not doubting that it's good. I have no problem with anime or manga. I just don't know. I'm not cultured like that. Yeah, Lugia, it's the exception, not the norm. Exactly my point. Like I said, there probably are women out there that could kick the crap out of me, but the average woman, no. So he says, don't worry, I haven't changed. The new game's designed for, can't say that word, with ESG influences clearly in place, objectively speaking. The PC optimization is a disaster, that's true. Yet they somehow found time to prioritize this. Now again, this goes back to, do you want options in your video games or not? If you want options, then you can make your man look like this. I'm not saying I would. But again, this goes back to the guy, I think it was Pirate Nation, who was complaining about the new Fable game lets you dress and drag, when if you go back to Fable 1, you've always been able to dress and drag. That's not a new thing. Could they say, okay, we're not going to let anybody cross-dress in the game? Sure. And I wouldn't complain if it's like, oh man, I can't cross-dress. Look, there are plenty of games, I think, in fact, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Talk about based games. You cannot put on a woman's clothing in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 or 2, I'm pretty positive. Anytime you have like women's items in your inventory, they're grayed out. So not every game allows you to cross-dress in games. Does it matter if they do? I personally don't think so. Claymore's a great manga. Claymore's a great weapon. Not going to give her a huge belly like she had in the game. They're pulling back on the last... Oh yeah, The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah. I was thinking about making a video about that, but I don't know. The real low slung ears, but not rotated backwards enough to be a Yenta. Yeah, no cross-dressing in Kingdom Come, yeah. Worst account on this side, right equivalent to airbagged. Every post is a 4chan screenshot. John, you are not kidding. You are not kidding. Mangalore is almost as bad, except he's not monetized. So... in Mangalore's defense, when he's wrong, if he says something retarded, he's not doing it for money because he's not making any money, So he says, and your new mommy icon compared to Hunter Rise looks like it was made by Neil Cuckman. You only simp for her because you're gay. I don't have necessarily any issue with this character design. Like, it depends on if it fits into the environment or not, I don't know. Yes, she's very thick. You see pretty much every type of person body-wise except fat. Don't remember seeing any fat people in wilds. The square body type. See, and again, this is why I figured tonight would be a great, just whatever topic to talk about this, because I know that there are a lot of different opinions about whether or not this game is woke. And it's like, I didn't play it, so I got no idea. Okay, but Geek, the thing about that is, then Daniel Vavra, and again, I've come across as if I've defended Daniel Vavra. I'm defending what I see to be reality or the truth. Daniel Vavra made an ass out of himself. He went out and said, "You're not Henry, you're you." After the first game was, "You're Henry, not you." You see what I'm saying? So, hey, Tekla, I think it was you that was chastising me for not specifying what Yankee time I'm on. Twitter getting monetized was the worst thing ever. I like the fact that, again, verifying yourself, getting a little bit of ad revenue, made it to where I could, make enough money to pay for, the subscription itself. I was happy just to make $20 every few months or every month or whatever. That was fine. Guys should be starving and panhandling. You're not wrong there. They're blacksmiths. There you go. Okay. Has he seen the WNBA? She's a craftsman chief, so she uses her arms a lot. Yeah, see, Mr. Hardcore Mode, what do you think? I know you like the women, all varieties of them. Do you like the thick muscle mommy types? Like, again, I can look at a muscular woman and go, I can respect it. In some situations, it's attractive, maybe. But in general, once they start to get to be like man-shaped, I'm kind of out. All right, so this guy got a lot of shit, right? Says, if it wasn't for the side buzz cut, she'd be peak. All right, call me crazy. Call me crazy. I'm not a big fan of the side shave head thing. I was going to the gym a lot when the side shave and CrossFit became like intertwined, right? So guys, back in like 2009, 2010, I think is really when the side shave went crazy, and I was spending every day of the week when I wasn't working at the gym all night long, right? I was in really good shape. And so I saw a lot of these people at the gym, a lot of these women, these CrossFit gals, because they were nuts, with the side shave hair. Especially down in like Olympia, down in the Capitol here in Washington, where back when I was hanging out down there. Crazy liberal left-wing city. So you see a lot of like the SJW, blue-haired freak types. And they all have the side shave. I have no problem with this at all. Am I the only one? Like, I think the hair is freaking awesome. You know? I think we know more about gaming than Vavra. To an extent, I mean, wood? There you go. As a Souls player, I like my nuts crushed. Hey, at least you're honest about it. The blonde is basically the bait Wilds used to get people in. You're not wrong there. Every kickboxer girl just right. She reminds me of, you know, the video that went viral right around 2020? I think it was. The hippy dippy gal on TikTok that has like the dreads and tattoos everywhere, and she looks like she smells like weed. But I'm still kind of like, if I was single, I probably would, you know? Look at the woman's face. She's pretty. They could have easily made her look like that bug-eyed Blackley. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so why is it that they claim it's so hard to motion capture and model faces accurately, but that woman you're talking about, I cannot remember the actress's name. Every game she's in looks exactly like her, except maybe a little more frightening, right? Women with shaved hair is an ick. Okay, so I don't like shaved hair. Don't get me wrong. I would never, like if she didn't have that side shave, it wouldn't bother me. I'd be happier probably without it, but it's not bothering me now, you know what I'm saying? If they were white, they wouldn't be mad at all. Who are we talking about? You can't even use binoculars to zoom in on her chest if you want. Got nuts to steal. There you go. Alma, the Jewish-looking girl. She the one with the glasses? No, I know that Gemma's a blacksmith. Adding that "why are you gay" option was the death knell. Hey, big ship. Dude, honestly, I'm here for your guys' entertainment. So many CrossFit girls went nuts with the side shave. Yeah, one of them was a cop, okay? She wasn't just some crazy CrossFit chick that I saw often at the gym down in where I was going to the gym. She freaking was a cop. So she had the CrossFit, the side shave, and she was a police officer. It's like, holy shit. Now, this guy got destroyed. This guy got destroyed in his replies, okay? Poor man. He's not even monetized, and he got verbally abused all day long. I've seen people complain she has the chin, and I kind of see it at this point, or this angle, but most top-down angles, which is dominant in game, don't show it as much. What chin are we talking about? The crimson chin thing? All right, so guys, here's the thing. I feel like a lot of people, and I hate to say this because, again, I'm going to chastise a lot of like the quote-unquote anti-woke side of things. I feel like a lot of people, and I say this lovingly because I know a lot of leftists and weirdos, like the Antifa trans people say this all the time. Oh, you've never seen or touched a woman in your real life. No, but honestly, I feel like a lot of guys who obsess over the characters in these video games just generally don't go out much and see a wide variety of women. Now, I'm not saying go to your supermarket and pick like the ugliest people in the store and put them into a video game. I'm not saying that. But even the prettiest women are going to have different features, different shapes of their faces. So if every female character in every video game looked exactly the same, that would be kind of boring, wouldn't it? Like Deborah Wilson. I can't zoom in. See, for whatever reason, I'm on Brave browser. If I try to zoom in on a picture that's opened, it doesn't do it. If I zoom out, I can zoom in here on the browser, if that's what you want. But then I can't show you like the full image. That'll have to do. Had the side shave? Oof. They're too used to Asian bone structure. And here's the thing. If you're attracted to a particular shape, face, or style, or skin color, whatever, more power to you. It's like, dude, honestly, I have no problem people having their own personal taste in what they're attracted to. But I find it to be kind of grating when everything is always like, oh my God, look at her chin. And I'm like, you know, I probably couldn't tell you what my wife's chin looked like. And I've been married to her for 10 years? No, sorry, 2010, 2020. So 15 years now. I was thinking for some reason we had just decade, no, 15 years now. And it's just one of those things. Oh, open new tab. Dude, I'm retarded. I'm so retarded. It's fine. This is close enough. Let me see here. Haley Berry sword. Oh, don't even get me started on Haley Berry. People say things for engagement? No, but honestly, people say things for engagement. Yorch might say something retarded for engagement. John Della Rose might say something retarded for engagement. Pirate Nation might say something retarded for engagement. And Airbag might say something retarded for engagement. I get that. I say all sorts of shit on Twitter all the time because it'll get a reaction. It's more, I like provoking people. It's funny. It's shit posting. But what I don't understand is people who take it like beyond, like to a point where it's super serious, like it's their entire personality. Forgetting I'm telling, no, don't tell on me. It feels like it's only been 10 years. What can I say? Oh my God. You think that's a good call out? They actually made her to look Jewish. Her eyes are close together. Can't see the ears. Eyes are sunken and dark, but maybe a butt tip nose might be. No, I think actually she does kind of, if it's the character I'm thinking about, she does look kind of Jewish. Do a little trolling. That's exactly me right there, man. I had one today that I was dying. I posted it and I'm like, holy shit, this is good. It's over conversation because if it's true that all games in the last 3 years have had huge jawlines, at some point there has to be room for variability. Yeah. Pendulum swinging the other way. Chat's full of snitches. You're all snitches. And I can't even threaten y'all with stitches because you know I don't roll like that. I'm way too nice. Yeah, the pendulum swings, and to a certain extent, I'm okay with the pendulum swinging, but I don't know. Maybe it's just gotten to the point where it's just too far. So this guy responded to one of Manga Lawyer's posts and said, safe horny bros are the biggest homosexuals on the planet. Well, he's probably not wrong there. They're so gay. Okay, so I'm gonna anecdotal story here. I was posting something about Avowed. Was it Avowed? No. Oh, it was about the Yasuke simulator, right? Because Grums shared on March 20th Assassin's Creed Shadows and crap. There's another big title that's coming out. I can't remember if it's a remaster or not. Xenoblade. It might be Xenoblade. I can't remember. Are both coming out March 20th. And he's like, okay, gamers, which one are you picking? And I'm like, I'm picking Yasuke Simulator, right? And John Della Rose responded below. He's like, great, now what are the alternatives to the gay game Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? It's like, dude, give it a rest. The game came out a month ago. Like, find a new drum to bang. There's no, like, water left in that well, dude. Move on, you know? But it's like, I wasn't even talking to you, bitch. And here he is like, oh, what are some alternatives to this gay game? I'm like, you think about gay people more than gay people do. Patriot in Discord is like, he thinks about gay people more than I do. And I'm gay. It's like, yeah, dude. I just, it's so bad. Always rubbing our hands together and holding that. We're not going to touch the implications of that, John. Oh, he also used the least flattering picture of Olivia. I mean, that's another common thing too that you'll see is when they intentionally use like the worst possible photo. But the women they lust after are imitating men. Imagine being so gay that you seek out the traits of a man in women. Imagine wanting a woman to be a big, buff, burly, masculine creator. I think he means creature. Spell check. That resembles a man. Men of culture desire femininity. Oh, men of culture. Men of culture. I love anime, visual novels, Nikkei, and video games. Happily married to Akiha Tono, Sina Kashiwazaki, Shirai Kuroko, and others. I don't know who those people are, but I'm not clicking on his profile. He had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gayer than Veilguard for sure, dude. Honestly, that was like, yeah. Imagine okay, so men of culture desire femininity, grace, elegance, seductiveness, chaste, and beauty. How can you have seductiveness while they're chaste? I understand that you can be desirable and be modest and not promiscuous, but seductive requires a sense of like being sensual, which is inherently sexual, which means that you're not being modest. So this guy's just retarded. Sure, a man of culture can appreciate a woman. A man of culture can appreciate a woman that has a toned physique, but still has curves and femininity. These horrid beasts above are not such creatures of beauty. They are horrific beasts which resemble men. The only thing uglier than a man's masculine body is a woman's. First off, I'm not gay, but I don't think a man's body is ugly. I just don't find it like attractive. Henry Cavill does not have an ugly body. I just don't want to sleep with him. That's the difference. A woman's body being twisted and deformed to resemble it. See, some of these people, like, honest to God, some of these people need to go touch grass. And I say that as lovingly as I possibly can, okay? Yeah, I was thinking about maybe trying to get a video done about that, but I'm so tired, and I just wanted to hang out tonight and talk with you guys. I get it, my channel views are down, my subscribers are down, everything's down, and it's very bleak, and I could be all beating myself up about it. But right now, my life is so busy. Like I said, we're doing 4 nights a week with baseball practices. In a couple weeks, we start baseball games. On top of work kicking my ass right now, my wife being busy with her work and everything. It's like, I wanted to cover the Last of Us Part 3 thing, but at this point now, like, this is just so much easier just to get on here and talk about this stuff, you know? One of your chats finally got censored and it was one of the tamest ones. Oh, I must have missed it. Make a Last of Us 2 first, not an Abby simulator that is an example of woke BS in a game. The problem is that, honestly, they used the remaster of Last of Us 1 to try to justify the existence of Last of Us 2. Because I guess when they do the sales numbers for Last of Us 1, they actually include the remaster as well. So they go, oh, it sold 9.5 million copies. It's like, yeah, but that was also the remaster. Do these people get paid to post? Not all of them. It's a shame if a man grows old without knowing the power and beauty of their own body, and it's true. That's a very deep philosophical statement there. Like I said, I'm not into men, but I don't look at a man and go, oh, that's hideous. It's a male body. Ew. It's like I play male characters in video games. I'm going to pick the most jacked, roided out of his mind looking dude I can possibly play, give him a big beard and a mohawk and a big battle axe and go into battle like half naked wearing a loincloth, you know? Okay, so Mando, I'll give you some transparency. When I was really good at shitposting on Twitter, back before the influencers broke it and were making $25,000 a week from Elon before they got knocked up, hint, hint, Ashley St. Clair, wink, wink, to get paid to post. When I was getting 5 million impressions every 2 weeks, if I could average 5 to 9 million impressions, I might get 20 to 40 bucks off of that. Now, that would be for a 2-week period, and you'd have to maintain a certain amount of impressions at that point. Then they switched how the payouts were accumulated, right? So then it switched to, they did it by verified users that you interacted with, and not so much ad revenue, because ad revenue got kind of dicey. I got $11 a couple weeks ago, last month or whatever, for a 2-week span. I think it was like maybe 4 million impressions in 2 weeks. I got $11. Is it good for a few people? Is it a full-time job? Only if you have a couple 100,000 followers and you are approved to get subscribers monetized and stuff on Twitter, and you're getting retweeted by Elon, and you're in the good graces of being the in-group on Twitter. Yeah, that's the only way people are making money on Twitter. When you see those people that are posting their payouts, the ones who post their payouts, the big numbers, they're being, I'm going to say, allegedly paid to do that because they are advertising. Better off selling cans? Yeah. Yeah, no, dude, it's not great money. Top 5% get most of the money. More like top 1% gets the money. Twitter monetization. I have, if you guys know Owen Schroyer from InfoWars, he has a couple of great videos. I think he has them pinned to his Twitter profile. You could watch his video series on it. He did like a 3-part because he's a big account on Twitter and he doesn't make jack shit. So he did a deep dive on basically analysis of how Twitter operates and who gets how much money and shit. So it's a very select group of people. I wish this app would just tell me what part of the message is triggering its censors. I don't know, dude. Let me scroll up and see what your last comment was. I can see it on Streamlabs. Small group of old fat guys that are just too autistic to be allowed to speak on anything, whether they become. Oh, it's the transgender slur that you used. Now, granted, somebody said JDA is a black propagandist, and it censored that too. Sorry, guys. I don't know if it's just my account or if it's YouTube in general. I don't have any like strict moderation set up, but my YouTube channel censors a lot of different chats, so you guys just have to bear with me. Elon loves playing honeypots, yeah. That one went through? No way, I just missed it somehow? No, see, that didn't show up on the YouTube chat for me. So you might have seen that it went through, but I don't see it on my end. Very weird. Completely clean message is not going through. Well, maybe it's just retarded. It can be retarded at times. Your next, well, retard is no longer, I think, a word that gets you in trouble on YouTube. I've said it often and I never have a problem, so. Okay, so in response to this person saying, so glad to see so many posts from right-wing grifters like Grums promoting Monster Hunter Wilds, a game that prominently features a character voiced by a non-binary voice actress, Casey Mongillo. I don't know. I responded to this. I quote tweeted this and said, nobody cares if a voice actor identifies as non-binary. We care when their personal beliefs and ideology make their way into a game. In fact, let me find, Let me find my quote tweet of this. Hang on a second. Because I think I made a very valid argument here. Let me see. Let's look at the quote tweets. I should be able to see mine here at the very top. Why isn't it showing me mine? Here we go. All right. I said there's a massive difference between somebody being hired based on merit and someone projecting their own sexual or gender identity onto a character. Space Marine 2 had a trans writer and the game was still good, while EA hired people to self-insert into Apex Legends. And you can see right here, Apex Legends, prime example. We need a trans character. Okay, well, just get a man or a woman to voice him. Oh no, we need a transgender voice actor to play the trans character because everything has to be representative now, right? Doesn't matter that they're voice acting. Okay, let's get the lesbian, non-binary, she, her, they, them, and let's hire Erica Ishii to voice her. Same character who says, I'm gonna trade my ovaries for some ramen, I'm so hungry. And of course, celebrated by IGN, how they created this Catalyst character, who is, again, transgender. Apex Legends is full of these weirdo freak characters, right? That's just the way they've been the last couple of years. So there is a difference between hiring a voice actor who wants to identify a certain way but can still do their job competently, and then needing to see themselves inserted into the game for political or ideological reasons. There's a huge difference. I mean, that could be, Remy. It could be that the person's influence was limited. But either way, you know. Let's see, the first Monster Hunter game with an actual story campaign that locks you into certain cinematics and story parts. An Activision QA tester that's suing them. I can check into that. I don't know much about it. If we jailed every guy that posts in those "we must be better men" threads daily, we would never see cringe right-wing accounts again. All the cringe would be relegated to lefties. Dude, there have been a few today that I've been like, are you retarded? Like, are you legitimately retarded with that shit that you're posting? Yeah. All right, so Grum says, you've been told over and over that gamers are full of hate for people, and that's why they hate DEI in games. You've been lied to so many times, you literally assume this to be the truth. You don't get it at all. It's never been the point. We've been tarred and feathered with these lies. Grums needs to stop being so long-winded. I get it. It gets clicks. It gets him more money, but we've always been welcoming because we're the outcast geeks and we understand. No, see, okay. I'm going to disagree with him on this one line here. We've always been welcoming. No, because we were the outcast geeks and we understand. Yes. Not every gamer was an outcast. However, if you enjoyed video games, you were ashamed of it or you were embarrassed about it, so you didn't talk about it with anybody but your fellow gamers. I was not an outcast, but I also wasn't a jock, and I enjoyed video games despite what little time I had to play them because I was always working growing up in a family business. And my mom hated video games, so it's like I didn't get to really play a lot of games until I was really living on my own when I was like 17. That being said, though, I still enjoyed video games, but we didn't welcome in, oh, we want everybody to play them. It's like, no, you wanted to connect with people who had the same common interests as you. It wasn't about welcoming in the whole, because if it was welcoming, then people would have, I don't know. I think that so much of this is just like empty rhetoric. I'm also tired, so my brain's not functioning. You exploited that to get into our groups and then started demanding things change. That is true. Just to cater to you and for us to leave. Yes, that's what happens. When you don't gatekeep, these people get in. We care if you force DEI into games to the detriment of the game or the beratement of players. Yes. DEI often masks as virtue. Correct. So, okay. So, a non-binary voice actor is not some kind of gotcha in Monster Hunter Wilds. Nobody cares so long as DEI did make the game worse. That's not true. People will care. In the same way that I look at Erika Ishii, who I believe is non-binary, she's a she, her, they, them weirdo, and she's been all like F TERFs and, you know, protect trans kids and all this other shit. I care because every time she's been involved in a character or in a game or in a show, the show or the character or the game suffers because of it. So her acting in Ghost of Yotei is a red flag. If she was any other voice actress and she was gay or trans or whatever, wouldn't care. But the fact is, she has had an active involvement in destroying characters and the things she's been in, you know? Big Ship, I don't think it's every one of them. That's the thing. Like I said, I wasn't some weird social outcast either. It just wasn't a hobby that you regularly talked about with anybody outside of your group of gamer friends. And again, your gamer friends could also be jocks, like you're saying. It's more the fact that it wasn't something that everybody did. It was a very select hobby, and it wasn't looked at in a very positive light by a majority of people. We are all canceling the Apocalypse Weekly speech. Yeah. Oh my god. Eric's a Resident Evil character, reported to Monster Hunter that a research focused to be oblivious to his surroundings. Oh, interesting. The Kiwami guy sure did beta TLDR from Grums there. I always gatekeep my hobbies, no tourists, never. Yeah, I mean, again, we welcome if you are a fellow enjoyer of the hobby, not as, oh, we just welcome everybody in. Okay, so here's one of these tweets I wanted to ask you guys about, the people who played Monster Hunter. Because this is something that I actually found very interesting, very curious.
It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you, this many dollars worth.
Game developers need to work for merit. Merit only.
Oh, well, yeah, but everybody does. Thanks for the 2, Luigi. I appreciate you, dude. Everybody does. Every industry, whether it's government, whether it's corporations, whether it's fast food, whether it's, I mean, hell, speaking of fast food, so we had baseball practice tonight, right? And my wife ordered Subway before she headed out to take the kids. I was like, okay, I can either swing by on the way from work and pick up Subway, or you can take it with you, whatever. She stopped to pick it up. She's like, I have time, I'll pick it up. That way you don't have to stop, because I had a very stressful day. She calls me and she's like, oh my God, they messed up our food. Everything's a mess. They didn't have it ready. I had to wait for half an hour. Then she gets to the ballpark and realizes that they didn't even put one of our sandwiches in there. So I have to stop on the way to get the 4th sandwich that was missing. And this gal's like, oh, I'm so sorry. These girls were new and this and that. I'm like, okay, you couldn't even count how many sandwiches were on the order. You know, it's like, even fast food needs to be merit-based because there are some people who are too stupid to do that properly, you know? Let me see. We got a podcast one of these days. Dude, honestly, Mr. Hardcore, I would love to. I'm actually trying to with my other channel, which I cover more like politics and news stuff over there, and I do it way more seldom than I'm on this channel. I've been trying to figure out what to do with my 2 channels for a while. And I think what I want to do is move my entertainment content, gaming, comics, movies to this channel here. Still do all my live streams on this one, and then set up a like bi-weekly podcast on my actual podcast channel, and then I can put those into shorter segments and stuff too, but like just like an hour, hour and a half, maybe once or twice a week. But yeah, dude, I'd be totally down. I have to get my shit together. Summer's a crazy time of year for me, very, like with work and all that. But yeah, dude, I would be down for that. It's cool. Anyone can game. Games are not for everyone. Exactly. Oh, tabletop was the real outcast. You're not wrong there. That's 100% true. And that's something that, as much as I love how much, like the stories behind the tabletop worlds, and the amount of detail with the miniatures and the painting and the sculpting and all that, I just never had time to get into it. Never really had interest to it. So this guy Heath here says, in their defense, as a longtime Monster Hunter enjoyer, I can clarify that from the very beginning, Monster Hunter has always had absurdly buff, shockingly flat female character models, long before DEI and wokeness were a thing. It's one of the series' weaknesses in general, one that they only started trying to fix just slightly with Monster Hunter World. The in-universe explanation for it is that Monster Hunter takes place in a world that used to have a highly advanced technological ancient civilization, and humans are descendants of genetically engineered superhumans that can survive gigantic falls and getting hit by dragon tails, so all humans are huge and beefy and athletic. And if you want traditionally beautiful and elegant creatures, you have to look to the Wyverians, the elf-like people who are descendants of dragons. But I think the real reason is it was easier to make your armor pieces fit everyone in your PS2 game if everybody's the same shape and size, even though female armor is often different and generally better in successive titles. But I agree it's an old staple of the franchise that I'd rather see them abandon more than they have, especially considering they've already embraced cute, beautiful, and generally appealing Japanese audience human NPC designs in previous Monster Hunter games. Dude, stop itching. Dog. Come here. Let me take your collar off. It's really getting annoying. Come here. Come here. Ugh. Nothing worse than an itchy dog rattling his collar. Right on, Mr. Hardcore. Let's do that. All these arguments were settled by Ratatouille like 50 years ago. A chef can come from anywhere, but not everyone can be a chef. Dude, that movie goes hard. I love that movie. Not even like my favorite Pixar movie. I would not even have it in my top 5. But it does. It's a very good movie. Let me see here. So I'm not sure about if you guys, Monster Hunter, longtime fans, concur with this statement, but I'm just saying this is just what I'm reading on the interwebs here, So then we get to where there's a lot of people that are shitting on Grums, and like I've said before, I don't have any allegiance to Grums. I think he can be useful in situations, and at times I think he embarrasses himself, like Assassin's Creed Shadows Twitter account ratioed the hell out of him today. I don't know if any of you guys saw that, and it's pretty brutal. But again, it was bound to happen eventually. So this guy here says, you clearly did care and was perfectly fine with peddling your anti-woke BS right until you were told to shut the F up by the Monster Hunter community. You ain't the Lorax and you don't speak for gamers. So here he has this post where it says, what happened to Capcom from Monster Hunter Worlds to Monster Hunter Wilds, showing the difference in the character faces of two completely not even... Like this character here on the left, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm guessing not a warrior, right? Just go back to male and female. Dude, honestly, Mr. Hardcore, this is the thing. Like I've said before, and I agree to a certain extent, a certain amount of like wokeness or DEI like in a game that's just kind of there. Most people can say the game is 99% good. That little thing is stupid or annoying. Like, okay, you create your character and the pronouns are there, but if you can move on and that's the only retarded thing in the game, fine. You move past that, whatever. But it's like, there are two different engines. Well, that could be it too. Why? Why are you barking? Wally. Oh my God, Truth. You and I, we're right there. I would say Wally is easily in my top 2, top 3. If it's not number 1, it's close. Why are they comparing the handler with Olivia Captain? Because, okay, when John Delarose messaged me after I was on Smash JT's stream, and I got, exposed as being, oh, you're talking to SJW left-wing people who are trying to destroy the anti-woke movement. I'm like, no, I was invited by Smash to talk on his stream about Fandom Pulse and why I'm not writing for you guys anymore. That was literally it. One of these things that John and I had a conversation behind the scenes about was that my big issue with the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 coverage that him and Fandom Pulse ran with was they didn't play the games. And it was very obvious that everything they were doing was clickbait, ragebait bullshit that they had no information about, that they were just not even knowledgeable about when it came to the information. And everything he responded with was, oh, so you're okay with the gay pedophile game. It was complete gaslighting. But this goes back to the same issue. if you're going to talk on something, if you're going to speak on something that you have no knowledge about, you have to be ready to accept the fact that you're going to look like a fool from time to time. And in this situation, he's comparing apples and oranges, right? Oh yeah, somebody basically educated me. I think it was Veridark. I can't remember who was playing the game. That's basically said that the handler is who arranges all your contracts and tells you which, monsters you have to capture or kill. Maybe it was Mr. Hardcore. I can't remember if it was your stream or not. I was watching a couple people play it this week. Wall-E Incredibles. I'm not a big fan of the Incredibles. Ratatouille is definitely good though. Toy Story 1 and 4. I don't like 2 and 3. You don't find the lesbian tomboy attractive, but I can see a lesbian tomboy being a military captain. Too cheerful to the point of annoyance. Oh, damn. Yeah, that can be kind of annoying. Most of these characters are fine. I just dislike both of them. They're both annoying. Maybe that's a problem against not again. I'm reading chat while talking. Maybe it's a problem where there's just not a whole lot of talent in writing. Maybe it's the voice actors, maybe it's the voice acting, maybe it's the writers. It could be a combination of all these, No, Saniko, I'm right there with you, man. I honestly am right there with you. So again, he's been getting destroyed all day on Twitter, right? This person has a collection of manga lawyer tweets crying over Capcom going woke and big successful with Monster Hunter Wild. It's just amazing to watch. Capcom really broke him. Also, a lot of what he said make him seem like he hasn't played a single Monster Hunter game go woke, go successful. Again, with screenshots. And this is like I said, with when John and Fandom Pulse collectively were going hard at Daniel Vavra and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's like, I had legitimate critiques about the game, the response from the studio, the response from PlayOn for the Steam forum code of conduct. Like, I had legitimate concerns and complaints. But then there was so much bullshit that got lumped in that it's like, did you even play the game? Nightcore, I'm not a big animated guy. I've never watched the Invincible show. I've heard enough negative things about it that it's like, I don't want to get into a situation like with The Boys, where you get people who are like, The Boys is good, except everything's about Trump. The Boys is good, except everything's an allegory about right-wingers. Okay, if everything's an allegory about Trump or right-wingers, but you're going to accept it anyways, then that's like saying, this is a pile of dog shit, but they cooked it really well, so I'm going to eat it because it's kind of tasty. So for me, if Invincible's the same way, I would have no interest in that. Falling over a character you meet 2 minutes ago, type of annoying. Just gonna wipe the last 30 seconds of the stream from my memory. I'm sorry, man. Every so often, I'll see some guy like Grums or Endymion mispronounce some incredibly basic term, and I'll realize this guy doesn't play, watch anything. Endymion's... Okay. Endymion is not a fake gamer, okay? He's not a fake gamer. However, a lot of people have brought up that, and I think that this is a true thing, I think Endymion either will complain about a game, like again, so Endymion was on the side of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because, again, anti-woke. Then when his audience turned on him, he started complaining about the game. He, a couple days ago, like a week ago, was saying, oh my god, I finally finished this game. It's like a 6 out of 10. And he put a list of everything he hated about the game. And I'm like, you just seem like you're trying to counter all the positivity you had for this game because your audience destroyed you, Dude, I did not watch Turning Red. I was horrified when I found out my kids had watched it. It sounds absolutely awful. No. The English is much different than the Japanese, which Monster Hunter is made for Japan. Yeah, exactly. See, Nightcore, I heard the comics were good, but I'm not a big comic book guy, dude. Like I've said before, I'm brutally honest about this stuff. I'm not going to pretend to know shit about something I don't know anything about. Oh, here you go. Okay. This guy says the woke crowd has gone full circle. They used to complain about how women in games weren't hot and masculinity was being taken out of games. Now they complain about Space Marine 2, Doom, and Monster Hunter, some of the manliest shit ever. Woke truly has no meaning. I mean, yeah. I think that is a... God, I'm so pumped for this game. I'm not even like a Doom guy. I got through the last two Doom games because I decided I'm gonna finish these games because I started them. It's not really my thing, right? But I got through them. I'm like, they're fine games for what they are. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm looking at this like, oh my god, I want to play this like now, like tomorrow. I want to play this game. I'm excited. I'm pumped for this to be on Game Pass. Space Marine 2 I'll pick up eventually at some point. Just haven't gotten around to it. Love when Demon and other guys like him got dragged by Mauler for trying to trash God of War Ragnarok. Literally none of them knew anything about the games. They kept bringing it up. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I didn't play the God of War games. I didn't own a PlayStation. And now I don't even care to try going back and playing them because it's like David Jaffe has kind of like sucked all the excitement out of God of War for me because that guy is such a complete retard. And Ragnarok, for me, the only issues I have with Ragnarok is the idea that you need to race swap like any of the Norse gods or giantesses or the, you know, any of that. It's like, it looks shit, like shit, whatever. I had to cover what he did several times with 40k speculation stating truth when it's just his opinion. You know, honestly, Empress, that happens. It happens to a lot of us if we run with things that are not confirmed or rumor. And you, this is the issue with all of us that did really well last year with the YouTube algorithm favoring a lot of this stuff. And I always tried to be reasonable and not let it be like, oh, yeah, these people are the enemy, go destroy them. It's like, no, I just wanted to do fact-finding and report on things and talk about breaking news and all that kind of stuff, right? But too much of it in the algorithm was just speculation. It's like, how many times has Kathleen Kennedy been fired, right? Can we be honest about this? How many times has Kathleen Kennedy been fired? And sure, I had videos that did great for views with rumors about Warhammer. Rumors about, again, you know, Games Workshop and all that. And then you go a year later, you forgot you made that video, and then you feel like an ass because you're like, oh yeah, that turned out not to be true, right? So that's why now it's like, even if the algorithm tomorrow decided, okay, we're going to start pushing your videos again, it's like, I probably am not going to be making the same exact type of videos tomorrow that I was 6 months ago or 8 months ago. I don't know. I don't know how things are going to go. Kratos was castrated in Ragnarok. Yeah, John, I just don't understand the point of taking like a Jotun or a Norse god, any of that, you know, the pantheon of Norse gods, and deciding to race swap. They're Vikings, they're Norse, they're Scandinavian, they're white with, you know, red and blonde hair. I heard the story of God of War Ragnarok wasn't good. I don't know. We got shit taste, chat. Oh, you're gonna cash in your Game Pass to play Doom, dude? I typically pick it up through Instant Gaming or any other cheaper sites to have like my 3-month subscription. Nobody has the 3-month subscription in stock right now, and I think that's because Microsoft might be raising the price of Game Pass Ultimate. I suspect that's probably what they're doing, which I'm not happy about because it's already, even if it's $30 for 3 months, so $10 a month, sure, that gets a lot of, I got 3 devices in my house that use the Game Pass Ultimate subscription. Even then, it's like you still don't own any of the games. So, I don't know. While our anti-woke friend here is having a seizure-inducing crash out, a quick reminder that in Monster Hunter, the player has complete control over how cool or silly their outfits are. He would have known that had he actually played these games. So again, this does kind of go back to that argument about you control the buttons you push. Having options as a gamer is a good thing. I can understand those arguments, you know. Netflix is, except I pay for the commercial version because I'm a cheap bastard, you know. You like Devil May Cry more? I wish I could have gotten into Devil May Cry. I just never really got into it. Different to speculate and to make it clear that speculation, but he went very far and became obvious that he pushed news very hard on purpose. So the other thing, Empress, that I've noticed last year, there was a channel, and I cannot remember the name of the channel to save my life. 99% of what this channel covered was mostly Warhammer rumors, and they would make the same 20-minute video with a different version of the exact same thumbnail. Most of them had Henry Cavill on them, and every video title was Warhammer's saved, Warhammer's doomed, Warhammer's saved, Warhammer's doomed. I'm talking like every week I would see this video pop up in my recommendations, and I'm like, I watched 1 or 2 of them, I'm like, this is literally the same information from your last video reshuffled and repackaged into a different sequence. Like a calling card for every double-digit IQ person. Yeah, John, I agree. So, like I said before, in terms of the you control the button you push, not every game is meant to be Grand Theft Auto, right? Not every game is meant to be Grand Theft Auto. So if Assassin's Creed Shadows has an issue where they have a shrine or a religious object or artifact that they shouldn't destroy because it would be very, very bad in that situation, like, again, the significance of those things is massive in that culture, then it's a really easy thing. Assassin's Creed Shadows should just have that toggle to where it's turned off where you can't destroy it. Unfortunately, Ubisoft has got a bunch of retards working there, so that's the problem. No, it's not Arch. It's not Arch. I think it's the Endymion copycat. It's not Yellow Flash. No, I'm talking, it is... The content, the video format is very similar to Endymion. It is not Arch. Arch is Swedish, right? Has an accent. So Mugen Lord here, one of these guys like Nure, the people who've kind of like backed off the anti-woke stuff because all this shit's gotten so stupid, says, according to my observation, some people say it's woke because I'm not mistaken. There's a character that appears to be non-binary and a voice actor as well or something like that. Some pointed out the masculine-looking women despite feminine women being present. You now have body types A and B, where you can customize your character any way you like, which means you can make both male and female characters of pure feminine or masculine. Females are nerfed in terms of their body and lacking of increasing the boob slider as high as you can to create a busty woman. I guess some find the overwhelming amount of brown representation of people in the game. I didn't expect Monster Hunter Wilds to have this level of debate. But hey, here we are. So again, talking about the discourse around whether or not the game is woke or not. This guy, Sprague Rakitansky, is just an asshole. He's one of these guys that he's the one that pretended to be a Kotaku writer to troll Grums. It says, Monster Hunter Wilds lets you have bearded ladies with voice training and cross-dress, but at least it doesn't have pronouns. We're winning. Keep it up, boys. See, yeah, you can do this in the game. You're just going to look like a freak. You're going to look like a weirdo. But again, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing to have more options in the game, right? Oh no, the Nightcore, that you would be killed on sight if you destroyed one of those shrines. Okay. Arch is a separate topic, but he also pushed the same thing at the same time and stated that for sure the Warhammer 40k show was not happening. Mr. H reviews. If I can discover that the account, the YouTube channel was like a really short, like 3 or 4 letter name, if I'm not mistaken. Just because calling Arch Swedish bugs. To be fair though, Zeta, I don't follow Arch on YouTube, so I probably wouldn't even see his videos. Kata previously had said, get ready for the Monster Hunter Betrayed Us and his woke articles to come out soon, and that was on February 11th. You had John Delarose saying, why does Monster Hunter Wilds allow mustaches and beards on female characters? And then, of course, the game that George Torch in his first article for Fandom Pulse said was the non-binary list, and it was on there. It's not woke. You should buy it, guys. I don't want anybody telling me you should buy this. Unless they're like a friend of yours or somebody who you trust, or you guys who have recommended games to me and said, oh, no, this game's great, and you kind of know what I'm into, and so you recommend it. That's great. That's whatever. It's like, I'm not going to go to a list and go, I'm going to be a little drone that's going to buy a game off a list because some random person online told me, you must buy this game. Oh, I love Swedish fish candy. It's one of the top, best candies out there, right? Let's see here. Monster Hunter Wilds, woke or not? So I'm being told Monster Hunter Wilds isn't woke because it has women who don't look like men, and men that look like men mostly. Yet players can make a female character with a beard, cross-dressed, there's a woman that's a he, him, blah, blah, blah. So this person responds and says, it's a distraction from the fact that it's a shitty, overrated game that casualizes the series. That is a legit criticism I've heard, is they kind of like water down, I guess, the difficulty for the normies, right? But of course it's woke. Feminist women in men's armor, first Monster Hunter with unisex armors, 90% of the characters are strong women and browns. Again, I don't think having black or brown people in a game makes it woke. If it's a game, okay, for example, the Hobbit game, right? Where they decided we're going to take this ethnically English group of Hobbit characters and we're going to mix Asians and browns and Mexicans into them. Yeah, that's woke, because that's retarded. The ethnic, demographic of hobbits were hobbits. They were based on the English people of the English countryside. there would be no reason for there to be brown or Asian or, dark-skinned hobbits, right? That being said, in a different fantasy world where you can create whatever, rules of, the ethnicities and the races you want to, having brown people does not make it woke. Again, go back to Morrowind. The Red Guards were brown. Now, you could play a Red Guard and make your guy white, but I'm pretty sure that the Red Guard, civilization group, that they were brown. Correct me if I'm wrong here, right? So they're saying if we create ugly characters, we're woke. That actually makes sense. I don't know, dude. I can't even begin to go down there. The guy with the glasses talks in the weirdest way ever. Like, instead of saying pronouncing, he'll say pronounce. No. That's Nerdrotic. That's Gary from Nerdrotic. He's American. He lives over in Texas. Arch is a Warhammer lore aficionado, and he's Norwegian. He also has glasses, though. Downgrades. Don't like Wilds because it downgrades the traditional way it's used to. In the story of Wilds, you literally travel to east from the west. Well, I guess that would make sense why there's browns then, right? Okay, so this guy said, I told Grums and other right-wing grifters many times this game's woke trash, but they wouldn't listen because there's a bimbo girl in it. Enjoy your W, subhuman lefty bros. Shame the game itself is trash and an insult to Monster Hunter from weapon changes to monsters. I don't know how to make Wilds monsters. Take old monster model, in this case Bari, change it up a little, give old monster moves, in this case a Stalos. Slow it down even though your hunter is stronger than ever, $70 plus tip. I mean, okay, so I think that there's a legitimate argument for games that aren't worth the price tag. Like, Avowed should not be a $70 game. But whether or not you like Avowed or think Avowed is woke or not is a separate topic. I think that's entirely unrelated. Like I said, the wokeness of Avowed is not the thing that ruined the game. The problem with the game is the fact that it's got, kind of mid graphics and it just doesn't look good. I don't know. It just all seems kind of retarded at this point. Yeah, the right guy, the Nerdrotic guy has normal print. No. Like, maybe Nerdrotic does that to mock Arch, because when Nerdrotic does his videos talking about like representation, he goes representation, and it gets really annoying. It gets incredibly annoying. Combat Wilds is more fluid compared to World. You don't get animation lock. There isn't that much of input reading as to older titles. So isn't that a good thing, Blu-ray? So what you're saying is they removed some of the jank, right? Just the V posters, LMAO. Every time there's a cringe right-wing poster that has zero perspective on something, it turns out to be... Okay. It's kind of like when Daily Wire hosts like Ben Shapiro or Matt Walsh, who again can both do good work in their own way for things that they are good at covering. It's like when those guys have a take about something having to do with pop culture and they are completely like out of their league because they have no idea what they're talking about. So it's like, maybe stay in your own lane, you know? That'd be like if I was going to judge one comic book artist's run of a certain character versus another. Do not ask me my opinion on comic books. Do not ask me to judge them. Do not ask me to compare them. Don't ask me who did art for which comic. Don't ask me who did the best writing. I don't know. And I don't care to know. That is not my forte, you know? Every game goes harder once the first expansion hits. Hey, speaking of expansions, it's not DLC yet, but they have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is going to be having the Barber mode come out later this month. And apparently they've got like 34 pages of patch notes. I don't know. Avowed just sucks. It's nothing and half as a game. By the way, I would suggest for us to collaborate. Hey, I'm always down for that. Like I've said before, I don't have it properly set up right now to do a multi-host stream. But what I want to do once I switch to maybe having like bi-weekly podcast rather than just like these random ramblings would be to like set something up on StreamYard or Rumble Studio so I wouldn't have to go through Streamlabs, and then I can easily add other hosts and, you know, guests and that kind of stuff. Right now, the way I do streaming, it's a one-man show. I can't even think to incorporate somebody else because Streamlabs is not that friendly when it comes to having hosts on your show. But yeah, I'm always down for that kind of stuff. Anora did suck, though. Are we talking about that movie, Anora? Came across some of the reactions in Nora, which won Best Picture, and was like, dude, please stick to shilling garbage like Reagan starring Dennis Quaid, please. I didn't watch Nora. Here's my thing. I have the unpopular opinion that basically most of Hollywood is basically like softcore porn at this point when it comes to movies like that. I didn't see it, so I don't know to what extent the sexual content in the movie, how hard it goes, right? But it's like, I look at Hollywood as 90% degenerate, and once in a while they have a good film. And I don't find any value in sex in most movies. I just don't. I've seen enough naked people in my life. I don't need more, naked people in my movies. I just don't. At this point, it's oversaturation. So I look at that and go, a movie that's supposed to be about sex working and I guess sex trafficking or some form of that, like prostitution or whatever, that's supposed to send a strong message about the downsides of sex work, while also the lead actress gives a shout out to sex workers while receiving the Academy Award or the Oscar or whatever it was, while also simultaneously being directed by a guy who apparently is like a porn addict. I'm so confused. I'm beyond confused. People were pointing out the director of the film, of Anora, apparently like half the accounts he follows on Twitter are like porn accounts. Like legit, like, I don't know. I didn't even bother looking it up. I'm like, all right, whatever. I saw one clip from the movie somebody shared, and it's literally her in like a thong with her ass cheeks out, like spreading her legs apart. And I'm like, okay, so basically the movie's just like porn, whatever. It's a porn movie. Oh, there you go. A Boy and His Dog. I think so. It sounds familiar. Shrek 5 does look weird, but I've already had the unpopular opinion that most of you probably disagree with. I don't think we needed any Shrek movies after the first one. Again, The Last Wish with Puss in Boots, great movie. Great standalone spin-off film. I will say that was a great movie. It came out like 2 years ago. But I don't like any of the Shrek movies past the first one. I just don't. Because he follows 100,000 accounts. Well, there you go, John. Either way, Empress, you can hit me up on Discord, or Twitter. I always use Twitter. It's all good. Whatever. Okay, so this guy here, Woke Infected. Okay, so I gotta check this profile. Sharing entertainment that is not woke infected. Human interactions are appreciated. Also, let me know if you spot something. Cheers. Basically, this guy's trying to be the next DEIdetected.com, I guess. Okay. Woke, were people saying the female character in Monster Hunter Wilds are uggo? That's not my experience. I'll reserve judgment on any other wokeness until I've played more, but the character creator does allow for attractive female characters, much more than Western devs do. Okay. So, basing what I've seen from this picture alone, if you can make your character look like this, then I have no problem with the character creator in the game. If you want to make your character hideous, if you want to make your character look like a man, woman, thing, creature, they, them, whatever, that's your choice. This is one situation where the buttons you push, again, you control the buttons you push, right? Where that does apply. Because if you can make a stunningly gorgeous looking character, fantastic looking character, then I don't see what the problem is with the character creator, you know? Shrek is only one movie, there are no others? Yes, Hook. Thank you. Oh my god. Because of the ending was predictable and done many times, once a hooker, always a hooker. Oh, okay, well, there you go. People were saying that it was like this generation's Pretty Woman. I'm like, Pretty Woman's a very interesting topic. Apparently, I don't know how many of you guys know this, because again, I'm old. Mr. Hardcore and I are the same age, so 38 club here, going on 39 this year. Pretty Woman, when that movie was filmed, Julia Roberts wasn't even 18 yet, okay? Apparently, she turned 18 during filming, as I recall, which is very interesting given the fact that the film, while there's no, like, full-on nudity, she is very much in a lot of sexual situations in that movie. It's just very, very curious, you know? So, yeah, we got the character creator. Obviously, you can make attractive women in the game. Another one that I've never watched, guys, Andy Pants Gaming. Apparently is one of these guys that is always getting clowned on. He's got like a couple 100,000 subscribers, so he's, I guess, like akin to Endymion at this point. This guy says, the foolish Andy Pants Games wants to convince people that leftists Leftists are the ones mad about Monster Hunter Wild's success, and it's because the game destroyed the anti-woke narrative again. I don't know what he means again. Again, this guy's obsessed with anti-woke people, so I'm not going to take his opinion too seriously. I didn't know Grums, Tinkerer, Yorch, John Del Rose, and Mangaloyer are leftists. And he's pointing out that Andy Pants Gaming is saying Monster Hunter Wild sells 8 million copies, left is seething. I haven't seen any leftists seething. I have seen people complaining about the fact that I did the video talking about the mods. People were complaining about the fact that, oh my god, you have to have gooning material in your game. It's like, well, you can mod the game however you want to. You don't have to like it to not complain about it, you know? Like I said, am I going to make all the characters in my game run around like half naked? No, I just don't care to do that. But if you do it, I really don't care. It's whatever. If I can make myself, I'll be male. If I can't, I'll make a sexy character like that one. You know, Mr. Hardcore, you're one of those people, and I've done this in the past, and I saw you've done this with some of your characters. I think it's in Monster Hunter, you made your character look like you quite a bit, and it's actually it's pretty impressive. I don't ever, for some reason, like try to make myself in the game. And I'm that person where I'll just like pick like the stock body, maybe tweak the eye color, scars, tattoos, hair color, and maybe a little bit like the musculature of the body, and that's it. I might spend 10 to 15 minutes creating a character. That's it. You laughed your ass off on that. I've never watched a single video from this dude. I have never seen a single Andy Pants video ever. You can be ugly or good looking if you actually try in Elder Scrolls. Well, there you go. Mercuse wouldn't allow beauty to be creatable at all, like other actual woke games. We're talking about Mercunti? People that excited about Outer Worlds 2 if they got disappointed by Avowed and Anti-Logic. Yeah, I'm sure that the studio that fumbled one game is going to knock it out. Why are people excited about Outer Worlds 2? I thought Outer Worlds 1 didn't even do that good. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought Outer Worlds was kind of like a game or whatever. Guys, these people worship Satan. That's why their games suck. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then he goes, and Satan makes you put AIDS in your game. There's a bald option. Touche. I'm not quite there yet. My brother, who looks a lot like me, except he's clean shaven and several inches taller than me, he's got it bad. So where I have like all my hair, it's thick, but it's like it's hair is receding. He's got no hair, and it's like his hair is retreated up into this little tiny island in the center of his head, and it's so sad. Hey, Netflix. He's like a white counterpart to the Why Are You Gay guy. One of these days, guys, I'm going to get actual videos set up on my stream deck here so we can play some of those. Marcuse. Oh, Marcuse. I thought he was saying Mercante for some reason. German postmodernist philosopher, the proto-woke philosophy. Postmodern. Nothing postmodern is good. Ew. You get tired of the laziness in movies with the sexy? I mean, here's my take. Again, whether you have a moral issue or just a general artistic issue with sex and nudity in movies or not, whatever the personal opinion is, my thing about it is I feel like a lot of times sex and nudity in movies is lazy. I feel like it is one of those things where, okay, prime example, Underworld 2. No, sorry, I think it was the first Underworld movie. Had a sex scene they took out of the movie, and it did nothing for the movie. Like, if you would just watch the movie without it, it's perfect. The first Underworld movie is fantastic. So if you threw a sex scene in there or just some naked women running around, it wouldn't have added anything of value to the movie other than here's some boobs, you know? I don't know, that's just me. I don't try to prescribe my view of it to everybody else, though. This guy says, no shit, the game is woke. Its previous entry had canon lesbians. Monster Hunter has always been woke since the very beginning and will stay woke until the very end. See, this is, again, why I wanted to talk about this, guys. There are so many different opinions about whether or not Monster Hunter even qualifies as woke versus, oh my god, this game is super woke, right? Erotica is when you need sex because it's an integral part of the story that isn't common, though. Yeah, like I said, I understand people's argument that sometimes it makes, like, it fits or advances the story of a movie. I just don't want to see it. I'm just, whatever. You can have lesbians in games and not be woke. Don't tell John Del Rose that, okay? Don't tell Yorch that. Don't tell any of those guys that. If you talk about having gay or brown people or any of that in a game, they're going to be like, oh, that's woke. Okay, so Airbag, who I do not like. This man is complete degenerate scum, filth, sewer, dwelling bottom feeder, says, please comment if you're a leftist and seething over Monster Hunter Wilds selling 8 million copies. I'm trying to see something. And again, clowning on Andy Pants, kind of the easy target here. And he's not wrong. This is, again, one of those situations where you go, the worst person you know has a good point. If you go through his Twitter feed, it's people who, this Twitter whore has me blocked. This chick, I called her a whore one too many times and she blocked me. Angelica Reed, I swear to God, she has somebody else running her account because she's posts on everything, every tweet. I see her posts pop up and I don't follow her. I'm blocked by her. But yeah, so most of these people are saying, I played the game and I'm super left-leaning. So again, I don't think that this game, I think the biggest problem for a lot of people like Andy Pants, like, people who had thought this game was going to be something it wasn't, is that they thought it was going to be, again, this massive victory for anti-woke gaming. So this guy says, brother, this man's trying to convince people that the liberal fellows are mad that Monster Hunter's selling well. Andy Pants is schizophrenic. He lives in a fantasy world in his head. But yeah, okay, this was one of Andy Pants' thumbnails. Okay. First of all, I know my thumbnails are low tier. Sometimes they look like clickbait, and they're not very creative. Like, I've been struggling for a while now to think about changing things up and making better looking thumbnails across the board. However, I will never revert or regress to using AI art. I'm never going to use AI for my thumbnails. I just won't. There are channels that do it and it looks fine and it works for them. Clownfish TV, Yellow Flash, a lot of channels use like the AI images for their thumbnails. I will never do it. I think that it's completely lazy. I'm just not going to do it. He had a video that says Halo is completely cooked. Ironically, that was the same verbiage Smash JT used. And says Master Chief is a black lesbian girl boss now. This guy said, you would think that if Master Chief was a black lesbian girl boss, they would just take an image directly from 343 and not have to generate one with AI. Again, these are not people that I like. These are not people I agree with. But they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all. It's not even her account. It's run by some simp. Exactly. Bangladeshi guy running that account. Let's see. Smash has articles how Forbes wrote how vegetarians should feel about hunting monsters in Monster Hunter World. Oh my god. See, I haven't seen that one. Holy shit. Never say never. No, dude, I know I'll generate AI images for memes, okay? Let me back up a second. I have used AI images for memes. And I think on my other channel I used one time because it was something with Elon Musk and the H-1B visas. So I put him in a Indian, what do they call it, sari or whatever. But that was because it was the whole H-1B thing and it was the easiest way to get a meme that would actually work. No, I've used AI for memes. But like every single thumbnail having these AI images where it's like, I need a black, trans, this and that. Guys, I made the best freaking memes back when Black Myth Wukong came out, when people were like complaining about it because it didn't have enough diversity, it didn't have women, it didn't have black people. And so I made these Black Myth Woke Kong memes with the Grok AI, and they were fantastic. It was like a chimpanzee with pink hair. It was awesome. I didn't use any of those for my thumbnails. It's like, if you want to make memes out of AI, go for it. I love it. Like, my favorite one is when I did like the Haitian immigrant guy holding the duck and the chicken in front of a sizzler. Like, it's the best thing ever. Imagine typing up a Reddidoid response tweet to a thumbnail of a Spartan black fat woman in a wheelchair. Yeah. It's all too much, guys. It's all too much. So, I think Mugen is the last one I have brought up here. He said, I've said this, most people don't give a shit about wokeness or DEI if the game is actually good. I think that that's honestly fair. Some people are throwing a fit because people are enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds despite the game having elements in the game that most would consider woke. True. Like I said, woke only makes bad games worse, but does little to a game that actually respects the player's time and is actually good. I would say that that's partially true. Not wasting my time making videos about this concept or drummed up controversy behind Monster Hunter Wilds culture war debate. Somebody says it's a slippery slope. First, it's just a few woke elements and designs. Then because people bought it anyways, the company knows they can get away with it, so they push even further. Then you end up with something like Veilguard. Mugen says, then Capcom should have released a Veilguard equivalent a long time ago. They've been profitable for these past 8 years with most of their releases. They found a way to split down the middle while EA is full-blown woke. And I understand the slippery slope argument. I get it. I 100% agree that once you start accepting little bits of, oh, well, it's only this thing here. It's only a hairstyle. It's only, one trans character, or it's only pronouns in a game, sure. But the thing about it is, with the way the internet works, with the way that YouTube works, with the way we have with content creators and streamers and everything else, there's enough people and enough sets of eyeballs going over every little detail. It's why we've had so much controversy and non-controversy from so many big things recently, because everything is under a microscope. So no, Capcom isn't going to take what Dragon Age Veilguard did and cram that into Monster Hunter. That would be retarded. That would be like, that would be completely counterintuitive to what they're trying to create with the game. Now, do they have woke elements in the game? You can make that argument, sure. Yeah, that's why we have a lot of eyes on these games. Exactly, Blu-ray, Kershey warned me about Bridge. Again, Bridge being the thing that's replacing DEI. So even though you have BlackRock and Larry Fink saying DEI is going away, you're still going to have things like Bridge. You're going to have things like, they call it Jedi. You're going to have all sorts of other shit, too, that they're just using in place of that. So Chief actually doesn't look like that. The guy's a grifter. I have a panic attack when the waiter asks me for my order. Oh, my God. Billionaires need to get together and do something about all the jobless people in the world. Well, you'd have to get those jobless people to actually want to work, Unfortunately, you can't make somebody work who doesn't want to work. The guy says, split down the middle. Curious as to what you think this means. Street Fighter 6 has elements that cater to both sides. It pissed off the gaming journalists for the return of Cammy's classic outfit, while at the same time incorporating A and B body types and the androgynous host of Battle Hub, etc. The game was profitable. Oh, John, that's dark. Now you're talking like Hassan, man. The price for freedom is eternal vigilance. And Netflix, here's the thing about that. While being vigilant, you're going to have people disagreeing about what is woke and what is not and how much they'll accept. Like I've said before, going back to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because that's my only experience with this, because I'm not playing Monster Hunter Wild, so I don't have any personal experience with it myself. I noticed right away, once we found out about the gay Hans stuff, that there is some weird dialogue in the very beginning of the game where you go, wait a second, I look at this with a whole different perspective now, right? That being said, just because there's a few elements of something they decided to try to do differently in a game is not always going to be woke. And unfortunately, we're always going to be butting heads with people who are completely opposed to anything that they just disagree with. Like, look, I've said before, I'll say it again. There were movies that were really great back in the 80s and 90s that had political messages that I disagreed with. Go back and watch an old, frickin' what's his face? God, Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas and, God, who was Charlie Sheen's dad? Martin Sheen was in that movie. Whole cast of like super liberal people, right? And Michael Douglas played the president, and he was the Democrat, and he was the good guy, and Richard Dreyfuss was the evil Republican senator who was trying to bring down the good president. And it was totally done from a perspective where the Democrats are the good guys and those Republicans are evil. The movie was still a good, enjoyable movie. Well-written characters, really funny, heartfelt, all this stuff. Despite the fact that I politically don't agree with the characters' personal politics. You can still do things in a way that tells a unique, good story, engaging, entertaining, and everything else, whether you agree with the inherent message of the product itself or not, or identify with the characters or their own personal beliefs or whatever. I just think a lot of things are going to have to be done on a case-by-case basis. And without having like open, honest conversation about it, where people are just like screaming woke or screaming, grifter, it makes it really hard to actually have an open, honest conversation. No, not West Wing. It was a movie called American President. No, West Wing was a TV show where Martin Sheen was the president, I believe. This was prior to West Wing. People want to work, but they don't want to be paid a shit wage. A business had to pay. Well, let's work towards that whole thing where we get rid of the IRS, break up some of these investment firms, and get back to where people can actually afford to run their business and have the government piss off. I think we'll all be happier. Some people just want things to be annoying. Other people that are much more political have the "we can't just turn the dial back 10 years, that won't do anything" mindset, and they don't want any leftism. You can't tell if it's woke yet. There's actually attractive people, so there's at least that going for it. I mean, yeah, that's for sure. Because Japan devs simply aren't online. They get all their info from queer localizers. Yeah. Yeah, no, ironically, Blu-ray, Martin Sheen was on American President before West Wing. Like I said, if you look at the movie and you're like doing it from like I don't want to listen to any Democrats. No, you're not going to like the characters because they're obviously the good guys in the movie, but it's still a good movie. Kevin Kline, he played the president in that movie Dave, where he has to impersonate the president because the president had a stroke while he was sleeping with his mistress. The president's a Republican and he's an asshole, and Dave is a Democrat. But it's still a really great movie, you know? I don't know. Put pressure on Chinese devs and trash Western companies. It's just... that gets into the whole CCP conversation, whether it's ethical to support games made by Tencent and NetEase, and whether it's funding the CCP or not. And it's like, God, this is all... It's all so frustrating. It's all maddening. Unfortunately, it kind of is what it is, though. It's the situation we've all put ourselves in by being aware of it and talking about it and being open to the discussions about it. You know, we're all... A lot of us are terminally online, where we know a lot more than some of these Japanese devs, like you're saying, where they just are kind of listening to the localizers telling them what to do. So again, I think the biggest problem when it comes to video games and entertainment, the voice actors, the writers, and the localizers. Those three groups of people who also work hand in hand, they work very much intricately with each other, are a lot of the biggest problems. Yeah, a lot of great looking Chinese games coming out. And I'm not going to not play them just because they're made by a Chinese studio. I understand people who don't want to do that. I look at it and go, if you buy a Ubisoft game, Tencent makes money. If you buy a game that any other company has any involvement with Tencent at all, like if you want to do a Tencent boycott, you have my blessing 100%. Go get them. You know, more power to you. But Tencent has their hands in so many different companies. It's like, unless you are actually looking through, it's like looking through every ingredient. If you have a food allergy and you have to go to the grocery store and look through every ingredient, eventually, you know what, the conclusion you come to is, I'll just make everything from scratch. But then you have to learn how to make everything, right? It's the same thing with like independent development. You then have to learn how to do everything yourself. China #1, yes. Oh my God. Any Epic Game Store games gives Tencent money, right? I only use Epic Games for my free games. I check in every couple of days on my Epic store and that's it. I got a ton of games I've never paid a dime for over on Epic. You know, guys, I was supposed to wrap this up and stream this game Elise, because this was one of these games I was going to kind of feature, do a little bit of promotion for some indie games. I do need to get to bed, but I'm just going to boot this up and give it a quick go around, maybe 5 minutes on here. Raise their fist with his old-ass, nerd-ass aviators and black and white filter. Guys, hey guys, wipes his snot on his shirt. Guys, I'm more base than you, red-pilled on this shit. I'm gonna stick around Netflix. I'm gonna play this for a minute, and then we gotta wrap things up, because I do have to get to bed. I got work tomorrow. We got one more practice tomorrow night, and then the week's practices are over. I'll try to keep the volume fairly low. This is an indie game called Elise. I basically understand it to be like a Resident Evil clone, from what I've seen. Tencent, because they didn't get where they got through talent. No, they got where they got through acquisitions, you know, through investments. Like I said, I don't want people, or expect people, let me turn down the game a little bit. I don't expect people to want to support the CCP or Tencent or any of those games necessarily. It's more the fact that I look at it and go, you're building a computer, you're buying a car that has any electronics in it, you buy a phone, you get anything that's been made in a warehouse or, you know, manufacturing plant, odds are it has some connection to China, right? Tencent started as a cable service? That's crazy. There are hacks that make copycat games and didn't even do it well like Naughty Dog. Somebody was complaining about this game because it didn't have any voice lines, actual dialogue. I'm like, honestly, I would rather the games that I've played that are indie games not have dialogue. Guys, you remember that Sancticide one I played a week or two ago? That thing was absolute dog shit, and the entire thing was AI voice acting. It was absolutely terrible. They had a closed market in China. Be fine with that if it ended up like South Korea, post-Park dictatorship. China's bad, don't play this, sent on an iPhone made in China. This goes back to the whole thing with Hassan Piker. When I pointed out that he's a socialist that was back in 2023 has net worth of 2.6 million people, everyone's like, what, you think he can't have money because he's a socialist? He's not allowed to have a house because he's a socialist? I'm like, guys, I don't care how much money he makes. More power to him. I've never seen a dead body before. Oh my. And here we have it, a dead body. But it's like, you guys are the ones that say millionaires are bad, but it's okay how much, you know, it depends if I have, you know, less than the next millionaire, right? Do I get back in the car? Wait, I'm confused. How did we run over the person that was in the car with us? What? Oh my god. Yeah, so for anybody who thinks that making a game is easy, just play like random indie games, and even the ones that don't totally suck. Oh no. Also, Nepo Baby, yeah. Path of Exile 2 is pretty good. When do I sleep? I sleep for about 6 hours a night, maybe. Usually I fall asleep by about 1 o'clock and wake up around 7:30. I drink a lot of caffeine, a lot of coffee. Then I do all my morning errands, my morning stuff before I go to work, and then I go to work, and then I have to leave work afterwards and go to baseball practice, and then get home and try to get set up for if I'm making videos or streaming, and then do laundry. My wife works. She works from home because she homeschools our kids. We have no time. We have no time. This is my time right now. Took a film course on Asian films. It was really interesting. It reminded me of some of the notions I had about the Hong Kong film industry. I feel bad. I feel like I wish that there were more good indie games. We've played some good ones. Sulfur. Sulfur was a good first-person shooter indie game, a roguelike that we played. That one was actually really enjoyable. Cool art style. There's been a couple other ones, but like, I don't know what the hell's going on with this game, man. Still learning my time zones? You are, I believe, 19 hours behind, but a day ahead. So if I'm doing this correct, it should be, if I can actually do math, 6:51 p.m. on Thursday, where you are. I used to play with a lot of New Zealanders and Aussies on Guild Wars back in the day. You got another message that won't go through because YouTube hates you. Hey guys, great game, right? Game's broken. Game is freaking broken. Holy crap. Are we back at the main menu? Nailed it. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, we're back at loading. Yeah. It's so bad because there have been so many indie titles that I've looked at objectively. I'm like, I want to give it a shot. I want to give it a chance. The game is 6 gigabytes. You guys can't see it, but it's got the little loading thing down here that just won't do anything. That's so mother. Oh my god. I hate that shit. Yeah, Blu-ray, I gotta get some sleep too, buddy. All right, I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend to friends and family and people that I hate. All right, guys, I'm going to hit the hay. Thank you all for chatting. Like I said, I want to do different stuff on Wednesdays, just kind of make it a casual thing, not as organized. Lo-fi looks awesome. Yeah, I don't do VR. I don't have the equipment. I don't really have the love for VR. I find it interesting. I think VR is very cool for what it is. I just don't personally have any desire to use it, to play it. So for me personally, this thing is just like doing nothing in the background. Holy crap. All right, my guys and gals, I'm hitting the hay. Thank you all for hanging out. It's been fun. It's been nice having a night besides Monday where we can just kind of sit and chat. Too often, I try to stick to my whole, okay, Wednesday we're doing indie games, Friday we're doing my AAA games, and nah, sometimes you just gotta break shit up, do something different, you know? All right, y'all, I will catch you all later. I'll be on Friday. Friday, I'm doing more Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I believe. So, Friday night. Yeah, I'll check my message.